Hey everybody, Liam here, and for those who don't know, we just recently hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. The support from you guys has been immense. So today I'm going to be doing something that you guys have been requesting for a very long time. Even since I was at like 500 subscribers, someone was asking me to do this video. So here it finally is. I'm going to be doing Draw My Life. So my story began in 1988. My mum and my dad were living with their then only children, my brother and my sister. My sister was about to turn 5 years old and my brother was about to turn 2 years old, and my mum decided she had a bit of baby fever and she wanted another kid, to which my dad wasn't too thrilled. He thought 2 kids was quite enough and he didn't need any more. So my dad was pretty much like, no, we don't need any more children. So being the responsible parent she was, my mum decided, hey, I'm going to stop taking my contraception and we'll have a baby anyway, just because I want one. And lo and behold, 9 months later, out I pop. Ace Trainer Liam joins the world. Now, one thing my family did notice during my first year of life is that I squinted a lot. I had a lot of trouble focusing on things, and they couldn't understand why, which now that I think about it is really stupid. But they couldn't understand why I bumped into things. They couldn't understand why I'm always squinting. They couldn't understand why I'd stand so close to the TV. They thought maybe it's just a kid thing, even though the other 2 kids didn't do it. So they couldn't quite understand what I was doing. And then one fateful day, I was exploring my world, climbing up on a chair, and my mum, again being the responsible parent, not watching me properly, just kind of thought, you're gonna fall if you keep climbing that. Can you just not climb that, please? I'm busy. And of course, what happened? I fell quite far and ultimately landed on a nice juicy nail that was sticking out the wall, slicing open my eyebrow and needing stitches at the age of 18 months. How I wasn't taken away by social services, I have no idea. But hey ho, that's what left me with the scar that I have on my left eyebrow that so many people think I've shaved as a fashion choice, and come on, it's not even in the way a fashion shaved eyebrow would be. I don't get people that think that. But anyway, they soon realised after this incident that I needed glasses, but not just any glasses. I needed super thick strong glasses, much like what my dad had. We're not talking jam jars, we're talking... These glasses were just immensely thick, and they still are to this day. Like, they're horrible. I barely wear them out in public because I hate how embarrassing they are. They magnified my eyes, and they were just absolutely ugly, and they did nothing for me, like, appearance-wise. And of course, as a result, wearing glasses like that, I got bullied at school quite a lot for how my glasses looked and how big my eyes looked. I'm not going to go through the names of what people called me, but you can imagine the kind of thing, because you're probably thinking it now. Not only that, but in my home life, things weren't always sunshine and roses, because my brother had a short temper, and what I learned very quickly is my defense mechanism for people with short tempers is sarcasm. I was very cheeky as a kid, and so I soon learned that the easy way to get back at my brother when he's having a go at me is to be cheeky. But then that always resulted in the same outcome, which was he would punch me, he would kick me, he would basically beat me black and blue. And his excuse all the time was, Liam's being cheeky again, so I hit him. And I really didn't get the idea that I should just keep my mouth shut if I didn't want to get beaten up. So probably, I always told myself I deserved that, but looking back, I got beaten a lot harder than I should have been. So maybe I didn't deserve it. I don't know. This is like an epiphany, this whole thing. He'd break my glasses, he'd give me bruises. These things happen. That went on pretty much through most of my school life until my brother hit his teenage years, at which point he started ignoring me and not paying attention to me. So I kind of found comfort being on my own during my teenage years. And then, of course, I discovered heavy metal, I discovered industrial metal, I discovered just metal music in general. Bands like Rammstein and Motorhead were just everything that I wanted to listen to all the time, and I went through a phase where I would just ignore other kinds of music. Like if you played a pop song to me, it wouldn't matter if I was enjoying it inside. On the outside I would say, no, I don't enjoy that, I only like metal. But that's what you do when you're growing up, that's the kind of thing that you do. You don't understand how the world works. And of course, as a result of falling in love with heavy metal, I decided decided, hey, why don't I grow my hair long? All the cool heavy metal people have long hair, and it looked so horrible on me. It was absolutely dreadful. I can't believe any of my friends let me walk around like that. And yeah, I fell in love with professional wrestling. Like, at the time, obviously, I was a kid and I thought it was real and all that. But as I got older, I realized that it's predetermined. Everything's planned out. The guys in the ring are trying to protect each other as much as they are trying to hurt each other. So I soon learned the insides of wrestling, but it didn't make me lose my love for it. It just made me like it even more as like an art form. Now, one subject I excelled at school was Spanish. I did really, really well in Spanish, and I absolutely loved the language and how easy I found it was to pick up. And I eventually realized that what I wanted to do with my life is I wanted to be a Spanish teacher. I wanted to be able to take what I've learned in Spanish and be able to relay that and teach other people to speak Spanish. And it was a really big aspiration of mine when I was about to leave school and go off to college. So when I went to college, I took Spanish. But as part of the enrollment process, we were forced to take extra subjects. So I took sociology because it sounded kind of interesting. I took psychology because it sounded kind of interesting. And I took biology because it sounded like it would sound good on a resume. I did the first year of each of them, and these are the results I got. I got a B in sociology, which I was pretty impressed with. I got a D in psychology, which, you know, I just disappointed myself. And then in biology, I got the worst grade you can get. Not even an F. I got an ungraded, which means my work was so bad in biology that it wasn't even worth grading. And that's basically because in biology, I slept during every lesson without fail. 5 minutes into the lesson, I was asleep. So basically, you could argue that actually I was going to nap classes, and I actually did really, really well in them. And, you know, I passed nap time with flying colours. But I guess you want to know what I got in Spanish. Well, we all turned up for Spanish on the first day of the first year of college, and there were 3 of us in the whole group. We got approached by a lecturer who said, unfortunately guys, because there's only 3 of you taking Spanish, we haven't got the funding to run this course, so Spanish is cancelled. Try again next year. I just left college after the first year. I just thought, why am I here? I'm doing subjects that I don't enjoy when I wanted to do Spanish. Why am I here? So I decided to go and work my part-time job and change it to a full-time job. And that job, of course, was working in a fast food restaurant, which was so classy, of course. During this time as well, I'd formed my own kind of punk metal band with my friends Ant, who was the guitarist, my friend Johnny, who was the bass player, our other friend Ash, who was the drummer, and of course me, being the quote-unquote singer, but I used to say vocalist because all I did was shout into the microphone. It was nothing exciting. And together we called ourselves Echoes of Disorder, and that's what the EOD on my wrist means. It's just a memory of that time where I was in that band, and it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it, but outside things, as with a lot of teenagers that get into bands, like a lot of outside influences meant that we all drifted apart. But one cool memory I do have of my time in the band was one day we put out a bulletin on MySpace, this is going back so far, where we were basically like, look, we want to go and play this show in Blackpool, but obviously Blackpool is miles and miles away. We need to hire a minibus, but we can't afford it between the 4 of us. So if any of our fans want to come to Blackpool with us and help us like sell out this show, all you need to do is chip in for bus money. And we hired a minibus with 14 of our fans and went to Blackpool, and we blew the roof off the place. After a while, I managed to find a job at my local opticians. They were looking for a trainee dispensing optician. Now, with the course that I was on, it wasn't like a proper university course where you go to university full time. It was a case of I worked 40 hours a week. Then in my spare time, I did my coursework by email, and then 4 times a year, I would head down to London for proper lectures and to go over any things that were stuck on and things like that, and of course, for the exams. But lo and behold, 3 years passed, and I became a fully qualified degree-level dispensing optician, and began, of course, to work as a fully qualified dispensing optician, which we'll get to in a little bit. Now, during 2013, I'd started to realise that I was pretty lonely, and I wanted to find someone to kind of be with, and, you know, just so I can enjoy my life a little bit more. I had no one to share my life with. So I went online and started using some dating sites, things like that, and ultimately I stumbled across this girl who had sent me a message, called Ellie. And I thought she was pretty and I thought she was kind of cool, so I thought, hey, why don't I message back and see if we can meet up? So we decided to meet at her university campus. And it's kind of funny because I'd set my maximum distance for people that I can search for to 25 miles because I didn't want to go further than like Coventry because, you know, I had a car, but I didn't want to spend loads of money on petrol. And Ellie actually lived 50 miles away. And at the time, I totally didn't mind. For some reason, something just compelled me to be like, do you know what? Forget that 25-mile rule. I'm going to go 50 miles and go and meet her. So I went and stayed over at Ellie's uni house for the night. And ultimately, the next day, when I was supposed to just go home, I decided to spend my entire day off with Ellie. So we spent the day walking by the canal in Newport and things like that, and just really getting to know each other. And we kind of knew right then that it was going to be something special. After a long time of working in the opticians, I realised that I was actually working in hell. I absolutely hated it because in the position that I was in as the most qualified member of staff, I was the complaints department. If anything was wrong with anyone's glasses, they would come to me, and it didn't matter that it wasn't my fault. It didn't matter that the problem could be solved really easily by like replacing a screw or pushing a lens back into place. I got so much abuse thrown at me during that job, and I definitely think that was a big contributor to the depression that I suffer with even today. I still not quite gotten over the fact that so much abuse was shouted at me for things that I hadn't done wrong. So I left optics and I got myself a nice little desk job working for a concrete company organising transport where concrete can be delivered. It is as boring as it sounds, but it was a nice easy job in an air-conditioned office and gave me loads of time to think about what I wanted to do with my life, because I didn't have any hobbies and I couldn't think of any hobbies that I'd want to do. Like, I knew I loved professional wrestling, but I couldn't see myself doing it because I didn't have the muscle mass or probably the intestinal fortitude to do it. I thought about music and the band, but the band by this point had really drifted apart and like barely any of us spoke at that point. So music was out of the question. So I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do as a hobby. I needed something to do when I got home from work because I was so bored. Like, I had things I enjoyed, but I didn't consider them like hobbies. And at that point, I'd found myself watching a lot more YouTube videos. And I watched quite a few Pokemon YouTubers, people like Jay Witz, who, you know, is always so evidently passionate in his videos about how much he loves Pokemon. And that kind of started to resonate with me because I loved Pokemon as well. That had been a constant in my life ever since I was a kid. So seeing this guy talking about how much he loves Pokemon was really hitting home for me at the time. I mean, I always remember the videos he did on his red couch with all the plushes on, and I was like, you know, I want to be that passionate that I have all these plushes of Pokemon, I have all these collectibles, I have all the games, and that I wanted to be passionate enough to be able to discuss Pokemon confidently with people. So I decided, maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe it's something I'll enjoy, you know, maybe that is the hobby that I'm looking for. So I went out and got Sony Vegas and I got myself Photoshop, and I looked at a lot of YouTube videos and watched a hell of a lot of tutorials on how to edit, how to make videos, how to use Photoshop effectively, things like that. And then on December the 1st, 2014, I created the channel that you see before you now, the Ace Trainer Liam YouTube channel. And by that point, I'd already made channel art for it in the right sizes, and I'd made myself a profile picture because I didn't want someone to come to my channel, see my videos, and then look at the channel and be like, this is a default layout, this is not someone who's put a lot of time into their channel. I wanted it to look professional from the get-go, so I tried my very best to make sure my channel looked the part before I uploaded any videos. And then on January 24th, 2015, I uploaded my first video, which was my top 5 starter Pokemon video. The thing I liked about YouTube was I'd post a video and then it wouldn't get a lot of views. I wouldn't get a lot of subscribers. But every so often, time had passed for a little bit, and then lo and behold, someone would comment, just a nice positive comment on my video. I realised that those comments were motivating me to make more videos, because then if I made more videos, I'd get more opportunities to get nice comments like this, and then I'd get more motivation. It'd be like a cycle. I'd make videos, I'd get comments, I'd feel motivated to make more videos so that I could get nice comments again. It was great. And along the way, I made loads of friends through YouTube. So I eventually stumbled across other Pokemon content creators like Lucy, Candy Eevee, Toby, Birdkeeper Toby, and Phil, PD Winnell. And together we formed the Elite Four and started our own podcast, which was absolutely incredible. And it was so much fun. And I'm looking forward to season 2, by the way. So in late 2015, Ellie had finished university at this point, and she started living with me at my mum's house. And my mum wasn't there most of the time. She was with her then boyfriend. I don't know if he's still her boyfriend because we don't talk anymore. I'll get onto that in a minute. And my mum slowly but surely revealed herself to be the evil snake that she is. But before things could kick off too much, on November 9th, 2015, we picked up our first puppy, Esmeralda, and it was just one of the most happiest days of my life because she was adorable. She was 8 weeks old. She was so sweet, so cute, and she learned so quickly, just all different tricks and stuff, and it was really what I needed at the time because, like, we were so sad. We were both so depressed, and this little bundle of joy came into our lives and just wanted nothing but love from us. So towards the end of 2015, my mum would come round and inspect the house, and basically if something was slightly out of place, she would say that the entire house was a tip. She would say the entire house is like a junkyard, a pigsty, and she'd go absolutely crazy and shout at me and I'd shout at her back, and ultimately she started threatening in late 2015 that after Christmas she was probably going to kick us out. And we wouldn't have had anywhere to go because my dad wouldn't have taken us in, not with a dog, and we weren't going to get rid of our baby because that would not happen. So we were in a really sticky position. And in early 2016, I did a live stream on Twitch for 24 hours, and my fans actually helped us raise £2,000, which we were then able to use towards a deposit on a new house and appliances and things like that so that we could move out ASAP. So we packed everything up and we left, and we're free basically thanks to a lot of our fans just really helping us out in a tight situation. So now in our house there's me and Ellie and Esmeralda and Maisie, our cat, who we took as well, and then not long after we got Dory, our Labrador, just to add a bit more love to our little family. And on top of that, my YouTube career was picking up, which was making everything more positive. I was getting invited to take part in panels at conventions like Summer in the City and Comic-Con. And 2016, since we moved out, has just been a fantastic year where things have just gotten better and better and better. It's all thanks to you guys. So that's pretty much drawn my life up to this point. So I just want to thank you guys for watching. But also, I want to thank you guys for everything, because I wouldn't be here making this video for you guys if it wasn't for you guys showing me your love and support. So thank you very much for being some of the greatest people on the planet. And of course, until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.